Thank you. If anybody's
Rosie's
keeping
back.
score. Yeah, yeah, Rosie's back in spirit, if not in mind.
We are super excited to have Rosie back. Everybody's missed you. But I've had some really interesting guests to fill the gap.
I understand that, and you brought a couple today too.
I know, I'm so
It's
excited.
wonderful when you have a business that your partners just really keep carrying the ball in your absence. I never worried for a second.
You know, Rosie is much more likable than Valerie is, and our members love to chat with Rosie by herself, but I am not as entertaining, I guess I should say.
That's a nice way.
I try to always bring guests to the show, and today we have special guests from St. Pete College. We are really excited to share with our audience all the amazing things that St. Pete College has going on in their entrepreneurship program. So Emmanuel and Greta, do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Of course. So
yeah.
Greta, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Greta Kishbaugh, and I am no stranger to these two wonderful women here who have elevated my career more than 11 years now. I met Valerie, I think it's been almost 9 or 10 years, probably longer. And Valerie was a veteran going through schooling and programming, and I had the opportunity to work with her as a mentor, a friend, a coach, and everything. And that just spurred my interest to help veterans. So for about 10 years now, I've been helping veterans build their businesses. I still mentor folks from way back when. I have new mentees already, and it's just been a wonderful ride. So through different programs, different schooling, I have kept in touch with these ladies, and they are true professionals. And I just have really enjoyed my working with veterans. And that's me. And I teach full-time at St. Petersburg College.
Thanks, Greta.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
And thank you, Rosa and Valerie, for the invitation. I'm Emmanuel Hernandez. I'm the Dean of the College of Business at St. Petersburg College. And actually, I'm new to the area. I've been, I guess, to the Tampa Bay area here, maybe 15 months by now.
Wow.
Previous to that, I was back in Gulf Coast State College in Panama City. So I had a great opportunity there as an associate professor for entrepreneurship, working with different incubators, and then fostering some of the partners with Tyndall Air Force Base and Eggland and the Naval Surface Support Center and all the research that we're doing. We had some great projects that we were doing in collaboration with them with the research and some of the new technologies for the active military and helping some of the veterans that were about to transition from military life to civilian, and they wanted to launch businesses. So at the time, the actual VBOC, the Veteran Business Office, it's housed at the Gulf Coast State College, and they serve the whole state. So that was a great experience also to be able to collaborate with them to help support the community. So looking forward to the opportunity and to see how we can continue supporting what the military and their families are doing here in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, how does the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Tampa Bay compare to what you're used to and what you've experienced in other parts of Florida?
Well, that's a very interesting question, right? Definitely the military component from an economic development back in the Panhandle area, it's I would say a bigger economic development driver, because we have within, I think it was 100-mile radius, we had close to 8 different bases or support. So most of the entrepreneurial activity back in the Panhandle, it's related to the military economy, whether it's related to the Air Force or the Navy, and then all the research that goes. I think, if I remember correctly, they were one of the zones with the most PhDs densities in the nation, because of all the research that goes on for the different technologies that they're developing. So it was more civilian in a way, but that was linked to providing services to the military. Mm-hmm. And then when you move here to this area, of course, from an entrepreneurial ecosystem perspective, it's really interesting to see how big we are in tech, military as well. But not all the major economic drivers are necessarily related to exclusively military, like back in the Panhandle, right? So here we have a much more diverse ecosystem, from finance to, blockchain, creator, Web3 type entrepreneurship. Then, of course, you have your tourism, real estate development. So I think it gives the opportunity really for any entrepreneur to kind of test the waters in multiple segments and then see where they can make a mark, and, from there scale based on those segments that they tested that were successful on.
Yeah, that's very interesting how the ecosystem caters to, and I guess it makes sense, the industry in the area. And since most of the industry up there is military based, in Tampa Bay region, including all of the surrounding counties, they really cater to and have come a long way in catering to the Main Street entrepreneur, those services that support the communities as well as the businesses in the communities. And it does bring some really incredible opportunities for organizations like St. Pete College and Action Zone and the Tampa Bay Wave and the Women's Business Center, all of us, to be able to provide a really strong foundation for them to build their business, regardless of where it is. Your industry is really agnostic at that point. Just let's figure out how you get from where you are to where you want to be, and then we'll connect you to places to grow from there. So it is an interesting change. It's always going to different places and seeing how their entrepreneurs are supported or small businesses are supported is very interesting, because some communities across the country are still way behind the curve, not recognizing the strength and the power of the numbers of small businesses that support their community and their citizens.
Correct. And for me, being new to the community and to the role as dean, it's one of the things that I really like about this particular ecosystem, even though it's kind of bigger geographically and, of course, in numbers in terms of the type of businesses that we have around. I feel that there's a little bit more collaboration between industry, academia, and then, of course, the military. So the opportunity for us to come together and get out of our box and, do innovative things, it's there. So I'm really pleased and really inspired by what we are able to do at SPC. For example, before we kind of started the show, we were talking about some of those funds that we were able to receive, in this case by the EDA, with our STEM challenge, that basically, even though we are the College of Business and we're not necessarily STEM focused, we're kind of diving a little bit more into STEM by partnering with other departments from the college and the community into that tech space. And even though we're not necessarily focused on exclusively tech and tech development, like some of the accelerators we have in the community, our tech is a little bit more, mainstream or lifestyle entrepreneurship. We can still help those entrepreneurs, be infused with some skill set in some of those emerging tech fields that could really create a good livelihood. So some of the things that we will be able to bring together that will actually be opening up applications soon is to do free training on, technology like GIS or drone pilot or AI boot camps, where, the participants will have the opportunity to select whether they want to go the employment route and they want to be employed by an employer, or do they want to be just solely as a contractor, as an individual, or do they want to launch their own startup or maybe partner with a startup? Mm-hmm. And we're doing this in collaboration with different agencies within the Pinellas area, but also with well-known organizations like the Tampa Bay Innovation Center. They just announced recently that they have their new AI cohort for startups. So we're looking forward to partnering with them on that effort, and then creating a pipeline of potential co-founders or potential vendors that could enhance what they're doing.
Valerie, you are not given permission to join that program for AI. Valerie is addicted to AI at this point. And that is probably one of the most common emails I got in my absence was, I'm just loving this ChatGPT stuff. So you are not, you have too much on your plate now. You cannot join that program.
She can lead it though. She can help facilitate it. How about that?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate, Emmanuel, what St. Pete College is doing in collaborating with other departments there at the school, because some people, Action Zone, we've been around for 5.5 years, and veterans and military spouses, they're subject matter expert in something that they did in the military, or military spouses and the multiple moves that they had traveling around with their veteran, and then they want to turn that into a business. but sometimes those skill sets don't completely translate from what they did in the military to the civilian sector. So if they already maybe have experience with drone operations, and then complementing it with certification like what you're what St. P College has now, could really be a game changer for those that want to become small business owners. So that's really great.
Correct. And some of the, I mean, we're doing a couple of innovative things, which actually Greta, it's also kind of leading some of those efforts. It's our Titan Venture XLP initiative. The XLP stands for Experiential Learning Program. And the idea is that exactly, we go back to especially entrepreneurs or people that want to launch a business. And, of course, having a business takes basically over your life in a way. And that doesn't leave room for much. And people still want to maybe have, a college credential that could really match their experience. And sometimes there's not that many avenues possible for institutions to do that just because of accreditation or any, state requirements. So one good thing about the state of Florida is that they made basically law that institutions have to work with a much more cleaner, streamlined process where we can articulate that military experience into college credit. So if it's not in effect, it will come in effect soon. But in the meantime, at SPC, what we're doing is we're actually working with students. We started a pilot with high school, but we're going to expand it to the community. And this will include the military community as well, where we can then help them develop a business or help them grow that business and then capture that long journey of coaching, mentorship, as a way for us to be able to say, all this experience, all this training you've been going through, more of a self-paced or, guided learning could articulate to college credit. It might not articulate to a full-blown program just because, there are requirements that don't allow us to do that. But for example, if we're talking about a 2-year degree, we could do maybe up to 50% of the program through that experiential learning, which means that basically we are saving them that much money and time, because now when they come, if they decide to finish that 2-year degree, basically they will have about a year or so to complete it. Same thing at the bachelor level. We have certain threshold that we are able to articulate the experience for credit, and we assign a faculty member or various faculty members to assess that prior learning experience. And from there, help them really recognize that advantage and that knowledge that maybe some other people didn't have. So those are some of the things that we're really looking into. How do we make it more streamlined to really support our, veterans? And some of those now include also coming back to the classroom, right? We know that for our VA students that use, any financial aid from the VA office, there's got to be an in-person component. And just because of the pandemic, a lot of the education kind of stayed online. So it's becoming a little bit harder for some of these participants to really find programs that can guarantee a certain amount of classes in person. One of the things we started doing is that starting this spring, we will have a 2-year rotation where we can guarantee X many of our classes that would allow them to come, finish, and be eligible for their benefits, because it's kind of tailored for them. So we're very, very happy and proud that, we are making those small movements to really look at all the different challenges the military participants or community have had in the past, and we just are finding ways to overcome those.
Well, you a lot to unpackage there, what you just said. So first, because I've known Greta for so many years, and we've had lots of conversations about academia and specifically with veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs, I know she's a bit of a visionary in this space and trying to create opportunities for military folks to get credit for their experience, in the military when it comes to formal education. So it's nice to see that some of the things that Greta's talked to me about a decade ago are, coming to fruition. And, I know with academia, sometimes things move a little bit slower, which is part of the reason why we formed Action Zone, because we could be a little bit more agile and faster in creating programs. But Greta, this is amazing, what Emmanuel has shared, because you've been envisioning this for so long.
Yeah, and I'm in the classroom. I think one of the reasons why, the dean asked me to get involved is I'm in the classroom. So, because most of our program, a lot of it's online, but I'm face to face and veterans come into my classroom. So I have the unique opportunity then to recruit them to come and maybe be in one of our boot camps. We're going to have a couple of different options. The ones we ran this summer, we were focused on high schoolers, but we got students. So we had a mixture of high schoolers and students. It was fantastic. But here's the best part. They have a focus on STEM and sustainability. So that's going to be our kind of hook also, is not only you're going to come through, get these experiential credits, you're also going to come out with a better appreciation for sustainability, and you're going to get to play with technology. And one of the gentlemen that helped us, our librarian at the college, okay, he's one of our librarians. He's an international star now. He was just in an international publication because the last 10 years, that's all he's done is played with printers and played with goggles. And now he is like our backbone. And we're bringing in this AR technology that's amazing. Sorry, Rosie. I'm pushing this up, but the goal is to get so not only like the old fashioned way, which we won't go into where this was done, was to please be in our program and then we'll give you something. It's not that way. Now it's we're going to give you training and we're going to give you the credits to go with it. And I think over the last 6 months, I have ELP, we call them experiential learning credits. I've ELP'd a lot of veterans who, like Dean Emmanuel was saying, we're stuck. Look, I can't get into this class because I can't take it at that time. So we really have I don't want to say we're pushing people through, but we're taking their experience and they're finally getting the credit they deserve. And not only that, but money is coming in for prizes. We're going to have money. We're going to have money very soon. It's coming. Soon
for pitch competition.
Yes, we are going to actually have some seed money coming in, and that's the best part. So come through our program. You're going to get the XLP you need to finish. You'll finish your AS or in half the time, as Dean was saying, and also then we're going to be able to give you some funding for your business. Yeah, it's coming.
Awesome. Wonderful. So I know Greta knows this, Emmanuel. I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually have been a student at St. Pete College. Starting in 2018, I told my husband, I was like, every fall semester, I'm going to use my, go to school full time, use my GO bill, because you have to, go full time to get the full benefit. And I did that 2018, 2019. And then 2020 happened and, I paused because our business was growing so much and Action Zone was growing so much. So I share all that to ask someone like me who is already in the system. My transcripts have already been evaluated, both, from previous colleges and my military experience. Could I come back and get reevaluated to see if even more of my experience could translate to credits to further along my degree?
Definitely. Actually, when we did some of the new changes to our curriculum, we did it thinking about those particular students that maybe started a college degree, but for whatever reason they couldn't finish, right? So just to give you just a little bit of data, the Pinellas County alone has a little bit more than 700,000 residents that have some college credit, but no degree. So there's tons of people in the same situation. And for example, one of the changes we did to our curriculum in our Associate of Science for our business administration degree is that we created a new subplan, basically a new concentration, that it's an interdisciplinary concentration. And the main idea is that really you can choose from any of our prefixes in business, which is more than 15. And it will allow us to really look at different type of courses that you might have taken in the past and assign all of those towards that IDS concentration to allow to get faster with your AS. And then that's one of those routes. The second route is looking at what you already have, seeing if there are some other credits that might be out there that are not being used that we can accelerate to get you to graduate. So for example, I'm very happy that I had a case fall last year. It was my first fall with the college, and we had actually, it was a veteran student. In his particular condition, he was a disabled vet. He was living in an RV with his whole family. So of course, he had to take online classes mostly because, driving and in the RV and the whole family wasn't necessarily too feasible. And long story short, when we were looking at his transcript, he was really short of just a couple of credits, almost basically like a semester to be eligible for the capstone course and then basically to graduate. And through the ELP process, we were able to identify at least 6 credits, which were elective credits he needed to articulate that experience he had, because he had businesses in the past. Of course, he had military experience.
Yeah, he had like 20 years of management and business experience.
Yes, so we were able to basically, at the rate he was going, he had maybe like a year and a half, so basically 3 semesters left. And we were able to compress all of that into 1 semester, finding really what were the courses that he was missing, what were the credits that he needed. We revisited some things he had, and we were able to accommodate his schedule and, articulate the rest for that experiential learning into 1 semester, and he was able to graduate this past May. So basically from 3 semesters, we were able to really dig deeper into his records and say, well, if we make this work, we can bring it down to 1 semester. And we did it. So, and of course, he was extremely happy with that, because, he thought he wasn't going to be able to finish. He was thinking that maybe, it was too long, too many issues, too many obstacles. And, he was kind of close to maybe reconsidering whether he wanted to stop again or not. And, we were able to do it. So it's a case by case scenario, right? I can't promise that will be the same situation for everyone, but we will really look really deep into each of our students' records to see, okay, where can we actually give you the most credits that we are allowed to do, and that we really have enough evidence from the student to challenge those classes and, exempt you from them through that ELP process.
That's interesting. So I'm going to ask one more question, and then about St. Pete College in general, and then we'll dive more into the entrepreneur program. So when I retired, I applied for a local university. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I was actually denied admissions because I lacked enough high school credits, math specifically. Now, mind you, I had already spent nearly 22 years in the Army, combat veteran, Bronze Star recipient, GI Bill, and I'm like, I have a credit of math is going to hold me back from going to school at this, university. Ironically, the next week they offered me a job, but that's another story for another In the Zone. What has the Florida education system, we'll just throw it all in one bucket, made any changes over the last decade, because this was 10 years ago, to help veterans as they transition that want to stay in Florida when the high school criteria to graduate from state to state is different? Like, has anything changed to help military?
Well, on that perspective, not much, right? So the state doesn't change too much to create, some of these particular benefits to certain populations. Really, it's kind of try to stay as standardized as possible. But we have made progress at the institutional level to maybe work some things around, right? So for example, in the past, if you're talking about associate of arts, right, you had your traditional college level math, and it was like maybe 4 options. And, either you score this amount of your SATs or the PERT, which is your college preparation test, and it kind of places you at what particular math level you're supposed to be at. But from there, we identified that certain careers might not need, like a college algebra, for example. Most business programs will require it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to go around that. But at some point, the state decided that, well, depending on the program, you could do, if you only require 1 math, for example, then maybe instead of doing college algebra, you can do statistics. And statistics is not that it's a simpler concept, but sometimes for some people, it might be a much better applicable topic towards what they're working with, right? So that's one of the things we can do. You have some liberal art maths that are more kind of like a survey of different math components to get you where you need to be to understand the principles of, if you're going to market research classes or you're going to more of an advanced class, then that liberal arts math could be a requirement that could easily transition into your bachelor. If the student doesn't have a high school diploma, we can always look at the GED. If not, we could look into, is the student able to challenge certain courses or even the status for admission, right? Because, you have your homeschoolers that they don't come with a GED, they don't come with a high school transcript, they have other tools they can use to come into college, right? So it will be kind of similar to that route where we look at 101 to determine how we can help that person. But it's one of those things where if the person really wants to go into the program, we just need to talk to our records office to say, okay, what does the rule allow us to do to help this person? And the difference between us and, let's say, a university, since that was the word you used, universities in a way also are a little bit more restricted than state colleges, right? So universities have closed programs and you actually have to compete for admission, and they have certain seats in the majority of their programs, and they can only select those many seats. State colleges are open door institutions, meaning if you qualify with the minimum requirements, you are automatically in. There's no true admission you have to compete with, except for bachelors, right? Because bachelors are a little bit different. Just those have specific requirements. But if you got into the state college at the AS or AA level, most likely the moment you finish your AA or AS, you're already admitted or eligible for our bachelor. So there's no extra loopholes that you have to do or find to get there. So long story short, right? It's kind of like a long way to answer your question, but no, it hasn't changed much, but there's different alternatives now that could help us substitute one requirement for the other. And again, it's on a case-by-case scenario, but so far we haven't seen any case so far, at least in business, that I can speak of, that we have to really deny someone because they didn't have the minimum requirements to be admitted to the college.
That's interesting. Well, I did take statistics at St. Pete College, and if it wasn't for my tutor, she's a Russian woman. She's a librarian over there. She was amazing. It's the only reason why I got through it.
Oh, and
Only
I
one gray
absolutely
hair,
love
like, literally.
statistics when I took
Yeah.
it. I thought,
And we have free tutors. So just so you know,
Yeah.
we have free tutoring services, including the weekends and late nights. So,
But that's you, Rosie, though. You're good with numbers, Rosie. You're good at that,
yeah, I always want to figure out how it all fits together.
You're good at that. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a good segue now into entrepreneurship, because as I'm listening to both of you talk about the different things that are available at St. Pete College, and I don't know if they're unique to St. Pete College or if this is how the college system in Florida has evolved. I was a student at Fort Pierce, Indian River Community College, and then got my bachelor's degree, or I got my AS degree when it became Indian River State College. So I was part of that transition period when things changed in Florida. But this is so, for me, looking at it from the entrepreneur's perspective and all of the small businesses, one of the things that we talk about at Action Zone a lot is one of the different pillars of things that business owners need to at least be aware of, if not conquer. And one of those is professional development. And I'm sure that you've all seen Wizard of Oz, right? You remember the Wizard of Oz movie? And the Cowardly Lion needed a decree that said he was brave, and the Tin Man needed a scroll that said he was smart. And even in business, your professional development, your credibility is derived from some of these documents. Whether they have the same value that people perceive them to have is questionable sometimes, but it's really, really critical that when you're building a business, that you're thinking about that professional development component and utilizing resources like St. Pete College to have that certificate, that piece of paper that tells your customers, your potential investors, your collaborating partners, the resources that you need to make your business run, that you do know what you're doing. And I think it's really great that you've got so many different tools available to help them get that professional development that they need, that credential that gives them credibility, because that lacks a lot. There are so many barriers to obtaining that. And it seems like you've really orchestrated great ways to not manipulate the system, but to make the system work for the end user, not just the machine that is a college.
I want to say one thing, and then I'll let the dean talk. This is special to St. Petersburg College because of this man sitting right here. He really, in 15 months, that's all it's been. Really, it feels like a decade. Anyway, he has really changing the way we're looking at it. So I think this is going to be something that others will follow. We got off a call. We work with VentureWell. We received some money from VentureWell, and we just got off a call this last week with a colleague in New York, CUNY, the CUNY system. And we're all working together. They're doing something very similar up there. So we are paving the way for other schools. So that's us.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
really awesome to
That's
hear.
us. But here, Rosie, real quick too, we're working on badges because my partner, Lynn, who couldn't be here with us this morning, Dr. Grinnell, the leadership part's in there. You know, they think they're making a business, but we have integrated that leadership part. They don't even realize they're learning the basic, well, we don't want to call them soft skills, but you know what I mean? They're getting that. So we're working on the badges. So when they finish, not only will they know how to run a business, but they don't know we're sneaking those in. They don't know that the professional part's coming in there. And what you guys have always been great at Action Zone, with Russ leading some of your training and you guys leading the training, you've kept people engaged and you've kept them learning communication skills, learning people skills, empathy, all that wrapped in. So we're wrapping. That's why I'm there. I'm the touchy-feely person. We have business people leading. We have like a food truck boot camp where it's based around food trucks, building a food truck. That'll be back next year. Vendor Academy, all this stuff that's coming under this Titan Venture. We're calling the Titan Venture XLP. It's all coming under that umbrella. But underneath that is also then we're going to teach you how to manage. We're going to teach you, like you said, how to be a better person.
Well, you're talking to the choir here. and I've got to know about, and I know Valerie knows I'm going to say this, I've got to know more about this food truck program. My most favorite business of all that I've had has been owning a food truck. And
that's the dean's idea. You can tell her about it.
Absolutely.
And Rosie actually wrote a book on how to start a food truck business. So
okay.
She is an expert. That's awesome.
Not anymore, but I'm still thinking about doing another one.
So tell us about the entrepreneur program as a whole. And I know that there's some things at different campuses. Like, how are you pulling it all together?
Very good. So, we have the traditional way and the non-traditional way of doing it, right? So the traditional way is your traditional college credit certificate, right? So we have a 12 credit certificate, so basically 4 courses usually that will give you the basics of, what is entrepreneurship, what is the business model canvas, how to do a business plan, if that's, something that you want to learn how to do, market research, business operations, marketing. Then you have your business entrepreneurship and development type certificate, which gives you about 24 credits. So basically it's expanding on some of those concepts of how to grow and, manage your company. And then you have other courses. For example, if you're talking about the bachelor level, we have a new concentration. Well, it's not new, it's a concentration within our Bachelor of Applied Sciences in Organizational Management and Leadership, right? So you're still learning business management principle, how to run an organization, how to run a team from a corporate setting, but at the same time, it's giving you some of the skills and, the mindset of, how can I think entrepreneurial within an organization? And on that same line, for example, something new we're working on that will be eligible or available next fall 2024, it's going to be a new certificate in corporate entrepreneurship and innovation. And the idea is to, again, bring back that same entrepreneurial mindset into the corporate setting or even, the nonprofit sector to create new products, new services, how to diversify your business model and to think a little bit different when you want to grow your company. Because, if we are not creating new stuff or, changing with the times or leveraging the new technologies, then, most likely we're going to come to cease. And the delivery, it's traditional, if you will, right? So we have our online courses, which could be a little bit more self-paced. We have our in-person courses, but the real value of coming to a college to take an entrepreneurship type program or just a class, really, it's the network, is the access. So to give you an idea, we are in the finalist stages right now for a different grant we apply for. that will allow us to provide our community and students cybersecurity training at no cost. It will be a self-paced course over the summer. So far, we're calling it the Cybersecurity Summer Academy. And that will basically allow participants to, hey, I want to learn more about cybersecurity. I don't know if I want to go into that field. I don't even know if I want to launch a business in that space, but it will give them the basics. And our goal is to get you to the point of certification where you can be eligible to sit for the test. And you will have a cybersecurity expert as a coach, and you will have an entrepreneurial coach. So that way, if you want to go either routes, you have support. But the only way that becomes available is for students that are active with the College of Business, with our College of Computer Technology, or our Workforce Division, which is the non-credit side, continuing education, like Rosie was saying. So there's a lot of different opportunities, like Greta was mentioning, where sometimes we get funding, and we can give that funding back to students as a way to cover materials or seed funding for their business. But you have to be a student, right? You have to be some sort of student or active student with the college to be eligible for that. And of course, the only way you may know about it sometimes is just by coming back to school, but really engaging. So I think the best way, when just listening to Rosie, what she was saying about the importance of sometimes having the credential, where sometimes that credential might mean something, sometimes it might not mean something. The best analogy I can use is like when you go to the gym, right? You see a lot of people that go to the gym, they go at the same time, they have the same rate, but not everyone work as hard. Not everyone build their body the same. Not everyone really learn from how they build their body to help others build their body. And it's all on that learner. So at the end of the day, people or students in this case are the ones that choose what really is meaningful, and they are the ones that decide how far they want to take that experience and how they want to really leverage all the network, their professors, the staff, all their peers, the community, all the events that we do. It's up to that individual. And that's where really the educational journey becomes valuable beyond the credential that you will get at the end. So yes, you can go to the gym and be healthy, which is a good thing. But if you want something beyond that, which is learning how to transfer that knowledge, maybe you'll have a great body too. That counts too. Same thing with college, right? Are you building your brain beyond what's the minimum required? Are you building a network that will really make you successful once you are done with your college degree? Are you expanding, coming back, reliving, and re-engaging those relationships? So that's what really college will give you. And that's what us, different from other colleges, are really focused on. We really want to expand beyond the college degree. And what we're calling now College 3.0, it's what we call better life, better jobs, better life. So basically, we're not going to stop at the graduation point, right? We are going to see that you make it to a really high wage job or, business, if that's your choice. So in that perspective, that's how our entrepreneurial program really adds value to the community, which is a long-term relationship. And, we're always looking for new grant funding where we can partner with our alumni, ideally, to see how we can help their businesses grow, which actually, for example, some of those partnerships are coming to fruition with some of our alumni that started businesses, and they're coming back to us to see how they can, expand their reach as a regional partner like we are.
That's pretty awesome.
That is, we're really excited for everything that's going on in St. Pete College, and the opportunity for Action Zone to collaborate with all of the efforts that you guys are putting into your expansion of opportunities and resources to students, whether they're wannabe entrepreneurs or not.
Exactly. And I think community is the most important part. We have talked to many students from different institutions as well, not just SPC. And the common denominator that really define what a experience it's great or not is the community you build while you're going through that journey. So one of the things we really want to do, especially for the military community, because some of the services that we will provide doesn't only extend to the actual veteran, it extends to their spouses. I have to look at the criteria of some of the grants that we just received that will go beyond, maybe the spouse and the veteran itself. It could be some other related members within that sphere. But one of the things we really want to do is to create cohorts, right? If we have groups of people, 10, 15, 20, that would like to experience that journey together because they're creating a community of support, we would like to bring this together and create a schedule or create an experience where they can stay together through that journey. Because that's what really creates meaning sometimes. And we all know that, life happens and, you're doing great the first year and maybe the second year, life is a mess or, we get a hurricane. So that definitely changes everything that you need. So that's something that, again, different from other institutions, we are able to do and we are willing to do. So especially with the College of Business, we have that opportunity because we have so much flexibility between hybrid courses, blended courses, in-person, online, you name it. And we can dedicate specific faculty that could match with that community as well. So basically, you just need to reach out to us, let us know what you need, and we will build it. Sometimes it might not be an overnight solution, but we will build it. That's for sure.
That's wonderful. Well, we went over time, which I actually anticipated with this conversation because we are just super excited about all the things going on at St. Pete College and to be able to introduce it to our members. Is there any last minute or last things that you want to share with our audience before we go into announcements?
Just thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. This is a time where we really need to get the word out because we have so many veterans in Pinellas County. Don't forget, we have 6 campuses and they're all in different areas. St. Pete, with the way St. Pete is growing and the announcement of the raise and that whole area being developed, this is the opportunity. And we have so many veterans who probably don't even realize that they could come to the college and veterans in our school too. So that's going to be one of our goals, to make sure we are identifying veterans that maybe are either getting ready to graduate or maybe we're still looking at that too. So.
Yes, I echo what Greta says. Thank you for the opportunity to bringing us to your show and to your listeners. The food truck, it's coming back in summer, Rosie. So actually, it's going to be more of a food venture. We're expanding the scope because we had some people that were not necessarily only interested in food truck, but catering and some other stuff. So we're going to expand the concept, and we have some great partnerships where they will actually get to maybe test their menu and cook it so they can give it to people and get feedback. So we're doing some partnerships with some kitchen places that have shared kitchen spaces so they can actually do the cooking and, cost control, all that stuff. But we also have commercial real estate. So we have a new course that is coming up in January. We have an info session coming up in November. So if someone from the military that has construction experience might want to get into commercial real estate development, we have a great partnership with some of the big developers in St. Pete, only for $145. And the idea is that they will actually get trained by some of those executives. And then the top 10 performers will be selected to do an internship of sorts. They will get paid $2,500 to really learn how to put a commercial real estate deal together. So that will be a really neat opportunity for us to experience, that type of entrepreneurial journey. There's not that many entrepreneurial programs that lead you to launch your career or venture in commercial real estate. So we're excited to launch that and, see how many people are interested that want to jump in.
Well, we definitely need to get a date on the books to do a powwow, the 4 of us. We got to talk. There's just
You got it.
too much synergy here. I know Valerie is too. I can already think of a dozen people for both the food businesses and the commercial real estate that have finished their business model with Action Zone. Some of them have even gone through the Incubate program, so they're off and running. But what you're offering is such a great opportunity, and we wholeheartedly believe that you don't stop with one program or one program provider. You take advantage, and April Caldwell, who's on our board and the founder of Faven, she's a prime example of that. She takes advantage of every opportunity, and it pays off in the long run. So we definitely need to get a date on the books now that I'm back.
Definitely. We can do lunch. We can do lunch, and I can meet you where you guys need us.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Action Zone, we have a couple of events happening this week. First, Felicia Pecora, Action Zone alumni, is teaching a risk mitigation course at the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center. And that, or I should say course, but that workshop is specific to small business owners, making sure that you're actually prepared for the aftermath. And that's all I'm going to say. You have to read the description and sign up for it. And anybody that knows Felicia, I mean, she is truly an expert in what she is talking about. She's an Army veteran, and she just retired as a lieutenant in Tampa Bay or Tampa Police Department. So don't miss that. We have Entrepreneur Spotlight, which we are super, super excited about. Tiger Lee is an Army veteran, and he owns the largest pirate garb store in the world.
Cool.
Emmanuel, have you been to Gasparilla yet?
No, I've seen all the promo and how to stay away from traffic when the event is actually on. But no, I'm planning to at least attending one event this year. That's one of my goals.
We need
Yeah.
to get an entrepreneurship float together from a lot
That's a
of
great
different
idea.
partners.
Count me
And,
in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
so
that.
I may have failed to mention that Felicia's workshop is tomorrow night at the ECC. Pirate Fashions is October 5th. Starting at 5:30. So really excited. We are encouraging everybody to wear their pirate outfit. Rosie will be in hers that she hand sewed herself, and it is phenomenal. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we have it, our next cohort starts October 7th. So we
Yep,
have
in just 2
some Q&A sessions. If you have some questions about the cohort, how it works, time commitment and such, please take a look at that. You can just Google Eventbrite and Action Zone and everything will come up, but we will post all of the links in the chat on this video for you to take a look at it. And Greta and Emmanuel, we always encourage our guests to also drop links in the chat of different activities you have coming up so that our members can take a look at it later, because 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, we know it's really hard.
Even for us.
Yeah, even for us. It's something that we started in 2020 and we just carried it on. So
I think it's a great idea. Thanks for having us.
Thursday night is the Q&A for the Action Zone Activate program that's starting on October 7th. That's not the last one. I think I've also got one the following week, but you have to forgive me. I knew the 28th. It's been ingrained in my head, but so we'll put the link in there. Join us. The class is filling up fast based on the emails I looked at yesterday. So always more room. You know me, Greta, I always allowed one more. I can squeeze 1 or 2 more in. I can always get 1 or 2 more in. So awesome. It's such a pleasure to talk with you guys. We could do this. If you're like me, we could talk about entrepreneurial crap all day long, right?
yeah,
If somebody pays
absolutely.
us to do something else, it's just such a shame. But thank you. And I look forward to getting together with you and seeing how we can make some of these connections real and tangible for people in our programs.
Thank you.
Let's repeat it. So thank you, everyone.
We'll do.
Right,
We'll
thank
make
you.
sure
Have a great week.
Standing
Bye.
guests.
Bye.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.